Hey guys, we're going to talk about note names. This is how we differentiate between specific pitches and intervals. Now, the most fundamental interval in music is the octave, which is a doubling in frequency. These sound so similar that your ear will identify it as the same note, but higher or lower. How you subdivide that octave is semi arbitrary, but for various reasons, we divide it into 12 even steps, which we call half steps or semitones. There are 12 half steps to an octave, or 6 whole steps. After that, our ear will hear them as the same, so we only need 12 note names total. Many of you may be familiar with the idea of using letters to represent notes. Specifically, we use the first 7 letters of the alphabet, A, B, C, D, E, F, and G, which those of you counting at home may notice doesn't cover all 12 notes. We fill in the gaps with something called accidentals. These are the sharps and flats you may have heard of. What a sharp means is a note a half step above the normal note name, so A sharp would be a half step above A. Flat, similarly, is a half step below. There's also a third, less common accidental, the natural sign, which means the same thing as the letter by itself. E and E natural are the same thing. But this leaves us with way too many note names. With all the letters and accidentals, we've got 21. So how do we fit that into 12? Well, we use what we call enharmonics. Enharmonics is just a fancy word for things that sound the same. We may give something two different names, but they are the same frequency, so our ear will hear them as the same sound. So for instance, there's a whole step between A and B. The note a half step between them can be called either A sharp or B flat, but it'll sound exactly the same either way. You'll see the same thing between most natural notes. However, there's only a half step between B and C and between E and F. Why is that? We'll cover that a little later, but for now it's enough to know that it is. So C natural is enharmonic to B sharp, and E natural is the same as F flat. By the way, these missing half steps make it really easy to find your place on a piano. If you look at the black keys, which represent the accidentals, you'll see they fall into a pattern of 2, 3, 2, 3, and so on. To the left of each group of 2 is a C, and to the left of each group of 3 is an F. Oh, one last thing, the double sharp and the double flat. You don't see them very often, but they mean exactly what they sound like. Raise or lower a whole step. Don't worry though, they're always enharmonic to a different, more familiar note. Well, that's note names. If you need more, check out our next video on notation, and keep on rockin'.